They say revenge is a dish best served cold. But mine came with a Bible, a clipboard, and two very polite young men knocking on my ex's door. Every single month. If you ever been ghosted, cheated on, or just plain disrespected by someone who thought they could get away with it, grab your popcorn. Because today's story is about heartbreak, healing, and one small act of divine retribution. Hit that like button and let's dive in. The relationship and the betrayal. I met Ethan, let's call him that, when I was 25 and still believed love could fix people. He was charming in that lazy, careless way that made you feel special just for being noticed. He'd text at 2 a.m. "Were you up?" And somehow it felt like poetry. At first, he made me laugh. He'd show up with takeout and that crooked grin that made it easy to forget he was late again. But slowly, the charm started to rot. The jokes became jabs. The smiles came with silence afterward. He'd criticize my friends, mock my job. "You still doing that little office gig?" he'd say, with that smirk. I thought it was teasing, until I realized he didn't respect me, not even a little. And then came the lie that snapped something in me. I found out through a mutual friend that he'd been seeing someone else, a co-worker. The same co-worker he said was just a friend who needed rides home. When I confronted him, he rolled his eyes and said, "You're being dramatic. It's not like we're married." That sentence, that tone, it was like being punched without the bruises. I remember sitting there, frozen, my heart pounding so hard it felt like it was shaking the air around me. No apology, no guilt, just boredom. Like breaking my heart was a mild inconvenience. 2, the emotional fallout. You ever cry so much your chest hurts? Like you've run a marathon with your own lungs? That was me. For weeks, I kept replaying everything. The red flags I ignored, the excuses I made. And the worst part? He didn't even check in. Didn't text. Didn't care. I wasn't angry yet. Just hollow. Until one day, I saw him post a story, laughing at some bar, arm around that same co-worker. The caption? "Dodge a bullet, grinning face with sweat." That was my turning point. Something inside me just flipped. I didn't want to cry anymore. I wanted balance. I wanted the universe, anyone, to tap him on the shoulder and say, "Hey, remember her? The one you treated like trash? She remembers you." 3, the spark of revenge. One night, I was doom scrolling, half watching some true crime doc, when an ad popped up. Interested in learning more about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? Request a visit from our missionaries. Now, if you've ever met Mormon missionaries, you know they are dedicated, polite, kind, persistent, and relentless. And suddenly, my brain whispered, what if Ethan wasn't religious? In fact, he used to mock religion, said it was a waste of time for weak people. He couldn't stand small talk, hated strangers, and despised anyone selling something. It was perfect for the planning. I went full Nancy Drew. I knew his full name, obviously, his birthday, his phone number, his email, and his home address. So I opened the LDS website, filled in the little boxes, name, contact info, location, and checked every box that said, yes, please contact me. When it asked if he was interested in baptism preparation, I smiled. Oh, yes, he was very interested. There was even a comment box for additional notes. So I wrote, he's shy, but deeply searching for truth. Please be patient. He's ready for a life change. Then, with one satisfying click, I submitted the form. And that was that. At first, I felt a flicker of guilt. Like, maybe this was too much. But then I remembered his face when he said, "You're being dramatic." No, this was just equilibrium. 5, the first knock. About a week later, my phone buzzed. A text from a mutual friend. "Yo, did you hear? Ethan's been getting weird church people at his door." I almost choked on my coffee. Apparently, 2 young men in white shirts had shown up at his apartment, asking for him by name, saying they'd heard he was seeking a deeper connection with the Lord. And Ethan, true to form, slammed the door in their faces. But that's the thing about missionaries. They come back. And they did. Again. And again, he blocked their numbers, ignored their emails, but the church's system, it never forgets. 6. Escalation. Weeks passed, and I'd moved on, or at least I was trying to. Then, another friend texted me a screenshot. Ethan had posted on Facebook, "Can someone please tell the Mormon church to leave me alone? I've had 3 visits this month." The comments were merciless. "Maybe they sent your sins faced with tears of joy. God works in mysterious ways, bro." I couldn't stop laughing. Every time he rolled his eyes at me, every time he made me feel small, it all felt like it was being repaid one polite knock at a time. 7. The permanent record. Here's the thing most people don't know about the LDS Church. Once your info is in their system, it's there forever. They have one of the most sophisticated record-keeping systems in the world. Genealogies, baptism requests, missionary logs, everything. So even if Ethan moved or changed numbers or deleted his email, they'd still have him. Somewhere in some database, his name is sitting under "interested in learning about the faith" for eternity. 8. The emotional payoff. I didn't go full movie villain laugh or anything. Honestly, it wasn't about cruelty. It was about closure. For the first time, I felt the balance of the universe tip back in my favor. Not because I hurt him, but because I reminded myself I wasn't powerless. He made me feel disposable. But now, he'd be remembered in church records, missionary schedules, and maybe even a few prayers forever. And that thought, it was oddly healing. Months later, a friend told me Ethan had moved to a new apartment. Guess who found him again? Yep, missionaries showed up at his new place. Apparently, one of them even mentioned that his record showed long-term interest. He was furious, threatened to report them, called it harassment. But you can't report divine persistence. He could change his locks, his number, even his city. But he couldn't change the fact that somewhere in one of the most organized databases in the world, he was now a permanent potential convert. And honestly, that's the kind of poetic justice you can't buy. Sometimes revenge isn't about destruction. It's about symmetry, about watching the universe quietly balance the scales while you sip your coffee and move on with your life. It's not fire or fury. It's peace disguised as persistence. If this story gave you that little spark of satisfaction deep in your soul, hit that like button and subscribe for more tales of karmic justice and poetic payback. And tell me in the comments, what's the pettiest revenge you've ever pulled off? I just might feature it in the next episode.